No matter what industry you're in, always remember that everything is a negotiation, whether you're negotiating salary, whether you're negotiating contracts, or whether you're negotiating food from different food vendors. It's your responsibility to know the ins and outs of negotiation and make sure you ask for what you want. When you're dealing with vendors in your business, you have to understand that everything is a negotiation. They want your business, and you being the customer, it's really important that you don't forget that relationship, that you're their customer. I would say that when you're negotiating with vendors, I think you need to be very upfront with what you want, be very specific on what you're looking for. You could be very friendly and you could be very polite, but you have to be firm in your decisions. When I'm looking at things, when I'm looking at potential new products, there's two things that I always look at. One, is there a significant differentiation in quality? If there is, then let's open dialogue. Number two, is there going to be a significant impact in cost for my benefit? And if there is, let's open the conversation. And if it doesn't check either of those two boxes, for me, there's no point in continuing on the conversation. For many years when I was younger, I would just say yes. I would say yes because I liked the vendor and I would buy from them because they were super nice. And as I started to become more experienced, I realized that I needed to push back a little bit. And every time I pushed back, I always got what I wanted. I would say, I want it at this price. And they'd say, okay, let me talk to my boss. And they would come back and say, yeah, we could do that. And I would be like, wow, all I needed to do was ask for something and they would be willing to do it. And so I would ask for more and I'd ask for more. And before you know it, I was like, wow, how am I getting all these concessions on all the things that I'm buying? And what I had discovered, it was my fear to ask for what I wanted in the negotiation that prevented me from getting what I actually wanted. So I would say you need to have enough confidence in yourself to be able to ask for what you want. And you might be surprised what people are willing to give you. One of my negotiation tactics is to ask for everything. And then as I'm negotiating down, I make sure I don't take the one thing that I really want to stick. That's the one thing that I won't compromise on. But if you're negotiating these other things down, which are not that important to you, it will come across as a much more fair deal in the end between you and the person that you're negotiating with. There's multiple vendors that you can choose from, but there's only one customer, being you and your business, and they want your business. So if they're not willing to give you what you need, then you have to be okay with saying no, and I'll stick with who I'm currently buying from. Also, in dealing with vendors, and in my case, food vendors, you want to make sure that they understand that you have high standards and that you're going to refuse anything less than excellent quality being delivered to you. It's an old trick. They'll sneak one bad one in, and if you don't say nothing, then they'll sneak two in. And I think it's really important that you call them out immediately and that they understand that you're shrewd, that you're a good businessman, and that you're checking everything. The industry is notorious for people pulling a fast one on you, and then before you know it, you've been serving bad fish for the last 6 months, but no one's bothered to say anything, and now your restaurant's closing. There's a partnership between you and your vendors. The same expectations that you want to deliver to your customers are the same things that you need to expect from your vendors, because that is your partner in delivering that guest experience. So if they're not going to hold up their end of the bargain, then you need to move on, or you need to make sure you're holding them accountable to that. Sometimes there comes a point where you have to fire your vendors, much like sometimes you have to fire a bad employee. That has to be a direct conversation for their sake as well. If you're going to get rid of a particular vendor, you need to sit them down and say, I'm moving on, and this is why, and these are the reasons, and I'm going to go over here. Call me when you could correct those things, and then give them the opportunity to win your business back. It's a difficult situation sometimes to address these issues, but if you don't, you have to understand that the only people that you're hurting by not addressing that is your business and your employees. So it is your responsibility as the leader, it is your duty to make sure that if you're dealing with a vendor that's not performing, you deal with it the same way you'd be dealing with an employee that's not performing.